anyway, let me move away from this so that we can quickly go into the main business of the day. And yes, you and I had a little bit of back and forth on this, over this in the group, and basically I want us to actually have a say concerning it. And if football fan, definitely I would say, like I said, main purpose of this is before we go into the Champions League, whatever. United. I was talking about the United and Crystal Palace season. Now, last season when Arsenal finished second, right? We finished second in the table, and Tottenham Hotspur, won the Europa League. I also remember when we finished second and United won the, I think, was it the Carling Cup then? Was it the Carabao Cup? Was it the Carabao Cup? The one Casemiro in the final.
You're saying when Man United finished second, yeah?
You finished. I can't remember where you finished then, but you won only the FA Cup.
Yeah. I think it was third and Carabao Cup, yeah. And then people were saying that was a better season than Arsenal.
And everybody was saying it was a better season than Arsenal, and they won a trophy, and they did it and that. And I was saying then, it was more of like maybe I as an Arsenal fan was trying to defend my club. But I get the banter sometimes. Like, people don't understand the difference between banter and real football. You're talking real football. I'm telling you, how can you look at a team that has finished second, it didn't win the league, but how would you compare that team with a team that won the Carabao Cup and just say, that team in the Carabao had a better season? So I told them, I said I was going to come back. I knew I was going to have a plaque back. I knew I was going to have my own plaque back. And I just did now. And that's why when you guys came second and Crystal Palace finished with the Carling Cup, I said, and I'm not backing out because nobody backed out last year, that Crystal Palace, according to what the fans have said, Crystal Palace has had a better season than United. I'm putting that to you.
United came third, right? You said second, third, yeah? And they're on a good trajectory. You know what, bro? I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to suggest what you can do because you're a big man. Yeah, you got a good channel going. You need to be better than these people that have been trolling you, yeah, with this bad logic, yeah? You're already described how you're smarter than that logic. I know you want to get your revenge. You don't have to. You can stay as a guy that knows where Arsenal was going, yeah? Because you guys have got the league now. So those silly debates about whether Man United were doing better when they won the Carabao Cup means nothing, does it? You're laughing.
Yeah.
So you know what? If you want to still, give Crystal Palace some of the plaudits compared to Man United, all right, go ahead, yeah. But I'm a football fan, right? I'm a football fan, so I knew when you guys were playing that saucy football, yeah, and going in all these title races, I saw what Man United were doing. They were doing a bit of football where it was getting the higher positions, but I knew under Ten Hag, the football wasn't going to that place where it was dominating games properly or entertaining or doing the things where you're thinking, yeah, Man United can compete for a league. No, right? So let's come back to what we're talking about earlier with Crystal Palace. You can say, yeah, okay, better when it's just a standalone thing, right, bro? Okay, 2 cups. Man United, no cups. Oh, better season. But I do not like those debates. I like seeing, bro. I like seeing where the football is going. Where are Crystal Palace going with their football? Yeah, their managers going, as I said to you in the chat, right? As you know already, managers going. They're going to sell their best players, like Gay, who's already gone, right? Their board is not ambitious. It's ridiculous, right? Man United doing a bit better with buying certain players like Cunha, that's worked, and Bumo's worked to a certain point, Sesko's worked, and it looks like I'm not sure if they're going to be winning some cups like FA Cup, I reckon, Carabao and all that. Crystal Palace, right? I would put money on them to be in a relegation battle next season, bro, with the way they are going. Yeah, because you see,
and you won't be wrong if you do that. You won't be wrong if you do that.
Yeah. I don't even know how they survived this season with the manager that they kept, and then people like Rayo Vallecano have to be ashamed of themselves for losing that cup, yeah, because I assume that their manager there was settled, yeah. these players for Crystal Palace, they knew the manager was going. So I don't even know how they've managed to keep being professional and keep winning. So you know what? That's
Even some players are leaving. Like Mateta is leaving. I think Mateta is leaving, and some other players in their squad is still going to leave, and they were still able to win.
Yeah. So these teams that play in England, right? They're taking over the Europe right now. It's just left to your team Arsenal to make it, you know, a triplet of teams that win European trophies. But Crystal Palace, yeah. All they're gonna say is, oh, okay, we won FA Cup, Community Shield, Europa League, and then they're going to be crying in the Championship within the next few years. So all I say to them is just enjoy while you can right now, and they need to protest against their board, right? Because you see what they're doing, right? They're not handling business. If your manager is coming out in interviews, do you remember when Glasner was coming out saying, "Oh, we've been deserted"? He was saying stuff like that.
Yeah. That's one of the reason why he's leaving. That's one of the reason why he's leaving.
How did he stay there after he says that? Because that makes the board look bad. So the board didn't care about him saying that in interviews. That's weird, bro.
Weird. You know one thing. Let me query you on this one though. Let me query you before going to Champions League. So talking about club running and the rest of them. Look at what happened at Chelsea. Look at what happened at Chelsea. Look at what happened at United. Look at what happened. Look at the top maker and look at what's going on at City right now. There is no problem. Yes, I know. Let's put City 115 case one side. You know, that club, City is properly run. Let's be honest with ourselves. That club is properly run now. Yes, they actually, they actually say they have those things, those charges, yes. But they are a proper football club now. They are run well. They know the next manager they want. They try to keep, their finances are fine and they are good. Yeah. So even if we know what they have done, but we know a stable team and a team that can continue. And that's why we say that they will be there or thereabout next season, right? United, you can see the stability. But before you got it too, you went through a lot. You ran through a lot of manager. In fact, I don't know what was your take. I don't know what was your take about Amaran, but I said it from the beginning. I said that guy was not going to last at United the first day he got the job. Because it doesn't look like a United kind of manager. I said it in the group and somebody laughed at me and I didn't even bother myself.
I remember you saying that on one of KG's show as well. On the show with KG, you said that. Yeah.
Yeah. Even when he got the appointment, I said he doesn't look like a United manager. Why? He doesn't just go. They don't tell like United play expansive football. The United will know. They will always play. It's not about the formation for me, but I know United to be a front for playing a 4-4-3-3. 2-3 wingers. Three front players. Good football, like not 3 defense. You don't play 5 defense with Manchester United. It's not possible. They are not Crystal Palace. They are not Burnley. They are not West Ham. You can't be on that. And then you know why? When I know he finished it, when he said he will not adjust, he will not even adjust. Every manager adapts. Even Pep. Pep did not play his style all through. There was a time Pep started, tweaking things. He started using inverted 4, playing 3 at the back, and winger. He was dynamic. So somebody will now sit down and tell me he will just sit down with one formation. That's formation. If it doesn't work, either that formation or what. I'm telling you, that was when I knew he was digging his grave.
Bro, let me tell you right now, you said a few things there where it's like, it's correct in certain contexts, because when you said the stuff about the wingers, right, and I think you said did you say 4-4-2? What you were saying the classic
4-3-3.
Okay. Yes. You made me think of like Sir Alex Ferguson a little bit. Okay, so I misheard that, but the thing is, you said expansive football. This is the thing. The Man United have not played expansively, right, since Sir Alex Ferguson days, and maybe Ten Hag tried a bit at the start, and then you saw the team couldn't really do much, and then he started being pragmatic. Man United's identity has transformed from that expansiveness, because I want that expansiveness to come back. This is why I've been really angry with Man United. They don't want to play expansive football consistently and get in the right manager and players and wait to develop that mentality. Yeah, Amarim could have worked, yeah, because he kind of suits this pragmatic kind of counter-attack style, yeah. But like you're saying, the three centre backs, that kind of, I don't know why Man United couldn't do that, because Crystal Palace could do it with Glasner. They were doing exactly the same formation, winning cups, playing good football. They actually look good to watch most of the time. But for some reason, Man United allows all these pundits, all these media people to influence the manager. The club should know what football they wants to play. The club hired Amarim. So why were they allowing Amarim to be thrown under the bus with the tactics? The club knew what Amarim was playing, bro. They knew we. So why is the media saying play 4-3-3, 4 centre backs? Why is the media saying that? Did they run Man United? That's
but even I think as a manager, you are the one who wants to you want to keep a job. You just got into a job and you want to actually do well at the job. You need to be flexible. I'm sorry again if I'm using Arteta because that's the only thing that comes to my head immediately. When Arteta came into Arsenal, he knew the kind of football he wants to play. He wants to play 4-3-3. He wants to go expansive. He wants to play this and that. But he couldn't play with the like of Mustafi and David Luiz. What did he do? He switched to the 3 at the back, 3-5, and it was compact and it was difficult to beat. He started with something. As a manager, you yourself, you know the job you just took and you know what you want to achieve. So the most important thing is you being able to, get the job and do the job. And then as a manager, I expect you to at least be flexible. I didn't say you should change. I just said be flexible. Adapt things. This guy was not adaptive, and that's why I'm not sure. From the beginning, he looked rigid, and I felt like it was not going to work. And I'm not surprised he did. And look at Carrick. Carrick didn't do anything much. Let me ask you: what did you think Carrick did? What's the difference between with the squad that Carrick? What did you think Carrick did to the team that is different from what your previous manager did?
Yeah. So first of all, I agree with what you're saying on the flexibility. Yeah. Amarim could have done certain things to change his destiny and just patchwork a few things to get a few more results. And then, like you're saying with Arteta, gradually build into what he wants to do in terms of his philosophy. But yeah, he messed up.
Yeah.
As I would say, the club still messed up as well. I didn't back him enough. Now, coming back to Carrick, yeah, I'm so surprised that he's done this well because it has the it reminds me of what Ole was doing when he came in, and he just, for some reason, it's like he's a good manager. He knows how to get the emotions going for Man United to, run harder, to have more discipline. It seems like Carrick has learned that from Ole, to get these guys to have more discipline, more of the energy. And a big thing as well, right, which I think has helped him a lot, is this getting the team to be more compact. I don't know why Amarim couldn't do that, especially with playing 5 defenders, 3 centre backs. I don't know why the team wasn't compact. Carrick has told these guys to, when they lose the ball, get compact. Even the attackers are coming back to defend as well, where they have like almost 8 defenders at times. So it makes them hard to beat. And then they do the counter attack. That's worked for now. Yeah. So that's the answer to your question there. And just to go a bit further, I don't buy into the idea that Carrick is just the guy now, right? I can't tell because he's earned the Champions League, yeah. So he kind of deserves to get more of a chance to show what he can do. But I just have a feeling that this is his ceiling. I don't think he has the tactics to dominate games and then eventually grow into like title race, unless he's like Xavi at Barcelona. But Barcelona is an exception to the rule. I say that because they have that La Masia training camp where they can bring academy players through. They don't have to spend money. They have the tiki-taka stuff that they do. That meant that football philosophy just goes throughout the whole club. Man United don't really have a fluent philosophy that will dominate games, that will get academy players to come through. I mean, there's Kobe Mainu, a few of them, but La Masia literally have like a whole team, and it's just academy players. So anyway, just to round that off, yeah, Carrick has done well with bits of discipline that he's got the team to do, yeah. But can he progress that to dealing with multiple games a week, right? Having the permanent pressure or the pressure of being the permanent manager. I'm not so sure, but we're gonna see what happens, bro.
Anyway, me before I go on that, actually, let me just put this out there, right? You know, like you said, we've spoken before. Now, in my inness of heart, I do not believe that Crystal Palace have had a better season than Manchester United, to be honest. And yeah, I told you I'm not going to go back on that because basically I was trying to, go back to what's happening. That's what I said. And yeah, you're right. Maybe I'm going to take your advice because you said I'm better than that. Maybe I'll just maybe. But to be honest, that does not do away with what Crystal Palace has done. I think they have had a very good season compared for the stature of the club for what they achieved. That's like about you know how many trophies they received this year. They won the FA Cup, they won the Community Shield, and they won the Conference League all in 1 year. I think it's for me it's a very big achievement for the club. But big up like, to be said. And then finally, I think one of the reasons why I've actually come not naturally, I shouldn't be coming from Manchester United. Like I used to say, like I know, like we are from this part of the world. We know what is called respect, right? United are a very big club, right? 20 Premier League trophies, FA Cups, and I think you are the next with the number of FA Cups won. Liverpool, 20 Premier League trophies, like big clubs. I know them. I respect them. I throw more banter with Chelsea, not with Manchester United, but Liverpool. But the problem I have is, this banter of a thing I'm going to say by United fans are now, patching up with the Chelsea fan in order to, show jabs at the Arsenal fan because Arsenal has not actually won this and won that, but refuse to talk football. So when a club I rate to be up there decides to bring themselves low to the level of those of a club with 20 trophies is trying to bring themselves to the level of a club with just 14 trophies, 14 Premier Leagues. I feel like they invited the disrespect. We are not the one that is disrespecting them. They invited the disrespect because I cannot go ahead now and go and talk to a Real Madrid fan because I know we are not mates. Like the two clubs, there is a difference. But United fans kind of, because of the banter, because they want to talk, they get involved in some conversations that they shouldn't actually be in. And that's why I have issues with United fans. But anyway, with that being said, let's move finally. You want to say something on that before we leave?
I've got to go in a bit anyway. It's been good to come on your show. It's been very interesting to chat about certain things. But yeah, last thing on that, right, is I do agree with what you're saying, but it's like, especially in the Premier League, if Man United are coming to the Emirates, for instance, when Man United are coming and then putting those long shots into your goal and beating you 3-2, they want to all of a sudden chat like they're in the title race. I don't do that, but I will troll you for that game. But I won't say, oh yeah, next season title race is coming. So it's just everyone's different, man. You're going to get that. Sometimes
KG is coming up. KG is saying he's expecting a title charge in the next season. KG is expecting a title charge.
This is what happens, man. You get influencers that will say KG's been doing this. He did this during Ten Hag seasons where we should not have been talking about any title races. He's a criminal. Yeah, we're doing this. He's funny. He's funny, but he's a criminal. Yeah, he gets the expectations too high, and he needs to do better. He won't do better, but he needs to do better. But this is what it is, man. Everyone's different. Some people get way too happy to come and chat to you guys, and they shouldn't be chatting until we see more of the football, right? But everyone's different, bro. That's what it is, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the show. I really, really appreciate your presence. Evan. All right, thank you. Anyway, I want to talk about the Champions League. I know you have had your say quickly before you leave. I know you say you're leaving. So, on the Champions League tomorrow, let me get your take before you leave on the Champions League.
Yeah, obviously, we've had a bit of a conversation on this, right? I love the way PSG play the football. Yeah, you say in a fair point, too risky at times. But as a football fan, I love risky football. Yeah, high risk a lot of the time gets
I
a high
reward.
reward. Yeah. I know you guys at Arsenal are doing low risk football. You've got the Premier League now with a bit of low risk, but can you beat these guys that are playing the best football, that have a lot of confidence? I think you can do it, you know. I would just say at the end of the day, bro, at the end of the day, you guys can't win it for the sake of football, because teams are gonna start copying even more. They're gonna start copying you guys even more. I don't want to see teams having the record for most corners scored. You guys have the record. I don't want to see that at loads of teams, bro. We need PSG to save football, bro. Yeah. By the way, just on that, yeah, I used to look, even though I'm against Arsenal, I did love your football a few years ago. I think it was 2022,
Yes,
2020.
yes. Oh, we
Yeah.
didn't win. We
But you
didn't
didn't
win
win.
with it.
Yeah, but this is the thing, yeah. There's a lot of managers that will play that football, even if they don't win, they'll keep going until they get it. I reckon with this squad, yeah, you take the squad back in time a few years ago, you're winning it with this squad and that football. I don't think you needed to change the football, but you've still won with changing the football, so I can't argue against that.
No, I think Pep really caused this. To me, Pep is a genius. Pep is a very good manager. I think he made this difficult because basically he prepared a standard that was so high that you have to be immaculate in order for you to win the league. So I think that's the problem that we're having, and that's why you see manager going to extra miles just to get the job done. I'm sure Arteta doesn't want to be like this, but he just look at, I have to beat this guy, and that's what it took. And for me, and that's why I'm happy that we won anyway. But overall, for me, I know you guys want PSG to stay football. Go on.
Yeah. Just sorry. I was going to ask you real quick. Yeah. Now that Pep's gone, do you see Arteta now maybe going back to some of that sexy football that you guys were known for? Yeah. Maybe he can express himself a bit more.
To be honest, really, I think he will think about it because Arteta actually does a lot, right? But he personally will think it this way, right? Let's look at it like this. Right? He's now known for the best defense in the world, right? Being pragmatic, being this, being hard, being that. He worked. He would actually believe that since this work, I don't, this is his style now. This is his style. It works.
Yeah.
I want it to change. I want him to play expansive football. I want him to go back to that where we're giving teams 6 nails, 5 nails. I appreciate it. I love it. But as a manager, let's ask yourself, if it was me, would I go back to, even though I'm thinking it will work now, would I want to go back to something I did that didn't work? All because I just want to please people? Yes, he can make tweaks and try to be a little bit expansive, but I don't see Arteta going back fully to be as expansive as he used to be. I think yes, he might try to get clinical players who can finish, do more, but I think Arteta would dominate. Look at what he did with the defense. He has Mosquera. He's just flooding them in because he knows that's what's working. So even though I want it, I wish he could play better, more expansive, but I don't see Arteta going back to that anymore. Yes, it can be a little bit, but no, I don't think it will happen.
I actually agree with what you're saying, and I just for some reason was just hoping you'd say the opposite, because I love I love football. At the end of the day, I love to be entertained and obviously have the teams win that I support. Yeah, but like you're saying, if he's winning, why is he going to change?
Why will you change it?
Unless his true identity is that sexy football that he's learned, where he must go back to do what he wants to do, not just change to win. I hope he's doing what he believes in properly as a, as a philosopher. That's why. That's what I rate about certain managers. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, bro.
Yeah.
I hope PSG win. Yeah, and
get used to it, bro. We're going to be champions soon. Get used to it. I know we're going to. I told you I'm going to be humble. I'm going to be humble. I promise you guys. I'm going to be humble. I promise you guys. I would be humble.
You know what? You shouldn't even be humble. You've had trolls, so if you want to be humble, that's cool. But yeah, man, thanks for having me on, bro. And
thanks so much for being on the channel, bro. Pick up yourself.